Hello everyone. So, as you can see in the title, this is the time where we talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're going to talk about my thoughts on the game. I've played about 30 to 14 hours a day. This is the third day that the game has officially released. I didn't play on early access, so I played only after the game came out, and I want to talk about some things for the game. Starting from how historically the game is and how everyone is, how everyone is talking about that. I think that the game changed due to the backlash, and now we have a very specific and a very nice way they've introduced how and why the game might be or not be historically accurate. So, this is the cuts. When you start the game, you play as Yasuke, and you play a historic moment in Japanese history. The setting is at the late Sengoku era, where in Japanese history and in the Japanese land, there were a lot of rebellions, daimyos, and the throne changing hands and stuff like that. So when you start the game, you play as Yasuke. It's Yasuke, not Yasuke. It's a Japanese name. I want to clear that out. So you play as Yasuke, and you play a specific event that could and had happened at that time period. Whether Yasuke or not was in that historic event is not a specific. Is not clear, but he could have been. Okay, he could have been. So that's better than a lot of historic moments that we've played throughout Assassin's Creed games, because Assassin's Creed games take a historic era or period and historic events, and they add their Assassin's Creed lore on it, and they change it. Now, what happens after that? So you play as Yasuke at that moment, and then you have a flashback on an actual historic moment that's been documented both by Japanese and by the Jesuits that went to Japan to spread Christianism. So you have Yasuke as a slave and bodyguard to Valegnano, which was the Jesuit Portugal monk or whatever that wanted to spread Christianity in Japan. So you see a historic moment that's been documented, and that is when when Valegnano met with Oda Nobunaga to actually get the permit for his monks and his Christian Jesuit people to go and spread Christianity freely throughout Japan. Then you have a little bit of Assassin's Creed sold on it, with Oda Nobunaga agreeing because he was in cahoots. Because he was in war, and he had some things to. He wanted to go against and combat the Buddhists that were in Japan. So he's like, yeah, okay, let's do this. I will accept it, but I want one thing. And what was that thing? He wanted Yasuke, which wasn't his name at that time. I think the game calls him, and he was named Diogo or Diago. I don't remember exactly. That's out of my mind because I want to have a pure reaction and pure evaluation of the game for you, and my pure thoughts. So I don't have anything in front of me. So he goes in front of Oda Nobunaga, and Nobunaga asks him if he knows how to speak Japanese. And Valegnano told him, "You're just a slave to me. Stand behind me. You are my bodyguard. You don't even need to come inside." And the right hand of Oda Nobunaga actually said no, because Oda Nobunaga wants to meet with your black dude, your black bodyguard. So they all went inside, and then Oda Nobunaga was surprised because he was hearing all about the Portuguese and the Jesuits, and he heard about a black bodyguard being in Japan. So he wanted to meet him and see what the fuss was all about. So when he met him, he asked him if he knows Japanese. Now, there are two options. When you start the game, you have the options to select that all the dialogues are canon to how Ubisoft designed the game, so you don't have any options in dialogues. While if you actually untick that, you can actually decide whether you will remain silent or you will reply. I think the canon is I don't know because I played the non-canon. I'm playing the non-canon version. I think the canon is to reply because from scripts we know that Yasuke already knew Japanese when he met Oda Nobunaga. I mean, not good, but he could understand and speak simple Japanese. So I replied that I know Japanese. So he was super surprised, Oda Nobunaga, and he asked in return for free passage and spread of Christianism, he asked from Valignano to leave his bodyguard, Yasuke, with Oda Nobunaga, so that he may be a bodyguard and a slave and a retinue to Oda Nobunaga. So Valignano accepted, and since then, we know that historically Yasuke was a retinue and a bodyguard to Oda Nobunaga. That's all we know historically. Another thing, and this is surprising, that's when you stop playing as Yasuke. Now, when you go back at the beginning of the game and at this point, you have a lot of cutscenes and a lot of dialogues from Animus. So at that point of time, you have a talk with Animus, and Animus tells you that the memories of Yasuke are too corrupted, and we don't have enough. So all the remaining memory segments are going to be automatically generated as you play the game. So you, the player, generate memories for Yasuke to fill the gap. And this is how you go beyond the historically accurate game and you play as something else. That's where one of the RPG elements come in place. And but then the Animus turns and says, "Look, we don't have enough memories from that period from Yasuke, but so we can explore what happened in Nobunaga and in that period. But we have a complete segment from the memories of Naue." Now here, what does the game do? The game introduces a character that could be that could have lived at that period, and being able to interact historically with everything that happened in that period. So you actually play as Naue, which is which is a villager, a girl, a woman from Iga. Iga is a province in China. It's the province where the ninjas and shinobis were traditionally trained and brought up and being born, and they were looked down upon because in feudal Japan, honor was at the top, but the shinobis were fighting in the shadows, so they were considered not honorable by most of Japan. So you were looked down upon, and that's why Oda Nobunaga attacked Iga. So you are a girl that's been through that attack. You fight during that attack. You see Yasuke close to Oda Nobunaga because he was his bodyguard and retinue. So he might or might not be with him. I'm not going to speculate about the armor he's wearing or anything like that, because to be honest, we never see that armor being worn by anyone else, but we know that armor is already used. The armor was damaged, and Yasuke was wearing a second-hand armor. That's another thing you should keep in mind. So, You play as Naue. The memories in Animus are complete. So you play as Naue in a totally historically accurate setting in Japan. So the setting is historically accurate, but of course there's a lot of sauce and salt and pepper from the Assassin's Creed lore. So you know they've done it with every game. Then at some point you meet with Yasuke. And this is the last historically accurate point that we see Yasuke in. Progressing the story with Naue, we reach at the point that this is not spoiler because it's historically moment. We reach the point where the where rebels attack Oda Nobunaga, and he commits harakiri senpoku in in his in his house, let's call it. So in his house, so he actually commits a seppuku. The harakiri, he dies, and then this is not. We don't know whether or not Yasuke was there at that moment. There is no script that say that. No one, no account about it. But him being a retinue and probably a bodyguard of Oda Nobunaga, he might have been the one to decapitate Oda Nobunaga. So we see in the game that he's actually the one to do it. And when he leaves that place, there is the last historic moment in the game that Yasuke was historically involved. So we see the rebels setting free from any trials, setting free Yasuke, and telling the Portuguese that now Yasuke, it's their slave again, and he's free to leave the country and do whatever he wants. That's what happened historically, and this is where it ends. But at the same time, while this is where any historic part with Yasuke ends in the game, this is the exact moment when Yasuke becomes available to the player. So Ubisoft has taken the ability to play with Yasuke out of the historic segment that Yasuke was historically in that period. They set him free as happened historically, and then they give you the ability to do whatever you want. You can play as Yasuke and do whatever you want in that period. You can play someone that never went back to being slave, and he just roamed Japan, killing everything and living his life, you know? That's up to you. That's your own option. And of course you have the option to play as Naue and continue with a historic, but a figure that could historically live at that historic period, because the period is historic. But what happens, of course, is under the scope of the Assassin's Creed lore. So if you can't accept Assassin's Creed lore being implemented in that setting, then you should never accept the Assassin's Creed lore being implemented in Italy, in ancient Greece, in Egypt, and in any other setting. In England, in France, you shouldn't, but you did. Now, as far as the options go, let's talk about other options. When the game starts, you have plenty of options to either play the game canonically, so how the developers wanted the game to be played and how they created the game. So you have the option for every dialogue to be automatically canon, or you have the option for you to decide what that dialogue could have been. If you want to play the game canonically, you can tick that. I'm not playing with that box ticked. I decided on my own how the dialogues play out. I think that's better for me because I get more into the game. You know, it has my own taste. Also, you have options for difficulties, you have options for combat, and many other options. On these options, as we talk about these options, there are also the options that people call woke. So, this is a huge topic. I think that we have to agree to disagree that not everything is woke. What I mean, we had the option to have LGBTQ stuff in Mass Effect. We said nothing about it. Shepard could be a male or a female, and as a female, she could have conducted with other female aliens or humans. The same way that male Shepard could actually have sexual intercourse and relations with other male humans or aliens, and yet we said nothing. The same options were available in Dragon Age 1, and yet we said nothing. At the other end of the spectrum and the story, some were actually getting horny because you had a female Shepard going around with a female aliens. I mean, was that woke? No, no one called that woke. Yet they still call everything that's happened in the last 5 years. They call everything woke. Look, guys, the game has the option, like any other game, to either have the character being straight, LGBTQ plus or whatever, or you can even decide to not have any sexual relations or any relations other than friendly with any other NPC in the game. You have that option. You can do that. You can just skip relationships altogether. That's an option. That's an option. The most absurd thing is that when you see videos from people comparing the trailer of let's say Assassin's Creed 3 to a sexual scene to a lesbian sexual scene from Assassin's Creed Shadows. The problem is not the game or the scene. The problem is that someone picked a scene out of the game and compared it to a scene that has nothing to do with it. Why compare the scene where Naue has a same-sex relation with a scene that's full of action and combat, and not use a scene that you see two gay men from another Assassin's Creed game? So it's up to you to decide what to do. I don't say that the game doesn't have any woke in it, or that the woke culture is not destroying games. I'm just saying that there is the option to do that and conduct and be part of the woke being in the game when you have the option to just not do that. That's it. Canonically, the story doesn't get you involved in a woke relationship. It's up to you to decide. So, going past through that, let's talk about the game. The game is pretty large. I've played about 40 hours up until now, maybe 35. There is a lot of content in the game. The game is full of content. The map is quite large. 25 to 26 level. I try to experience everything the same way I play every open world game. Same I did with Ghost of Tsushima. Same way I played Elden Ring or any other game. So I'm not speed running to complete the game, but I want to experience everything the game has to offer. So the game is pretty big. There is a lot of things to do. There are a lot of targets and a lot of side quests and side assassination targets and stuff like that. I liked it. I like all the rewards. On this side of the story, on this compartment, store in the game, I don't care about the store being there. I can understand how people want to object with it so that we don't get stores in the future, but it's fine by me. I don't use it. You don't need to use it. There are animus quests that are under something like a battle pass, which is free, and you get items from there, but still the items you get from store or that type of battle pass, which is free again, they are fully comparable with items you can explore and find in the game. So if I go as a level 5 character and explore a level 40 dungeon and get a level 35 weapon, of course I can use that weapon until I reach 35. But that weapon would be same, comparable, or better than the one you're gonna get from the store. So for me, it's fine. I don't really care about it. I mean, I still want to see how stores are going to transform in games. But from a developer standpoint, because I know developers and I know indie developers and I know how costly and how much time developing a game can take, I think that's fine. Especially when we're talking about a live action game that's a one time buy. Having something that's going to bring back money to you, it's fine. I don't use it. There is not. It's a single player game. There's nothing to be made. I can see someone use it. I'm like, yeah, okay. If you want to experience the game like this, go ahead. But it doesn't touch me, you know. Um, Now compared to other games, I've never actually scored a game more than 9. Ghost of Tsushima, I've never completed the game. I got bored about halfway through it because it was too easy for me. But Ghost of Tsushima was an 8 point something for me. Uh, Comparing it to Shadows, I still have a lot of way to go. I'm not sure I want to actually give a score for Shadows right now, but up to the point I've played the game, it's about a 6 or a 7 at the moment, but I'm enjoying the game. I play the game on the hardest difficulty. You can play, you have 2 characters. You have Yasuke, which is the tank. You can play as him all the time. You can go in, destroy everything. I have a great build. I was so lucky. I have a great build with Yasuke. I have a great build with Naue. When I play with Yasuke, I can go in and go 1v versus 7 and destroy everything. 1 versus 10 or whatever. When I play as Naue, if I go 1 versus 5, if I use my tools, I can win. If I don't use any of my tools, I'm going to die. She's a shinobi, she's a ninja. You have to play carefully, make sound, distract people, assassinate left and right. I mean, time-wise, if I go into a castle, I can clear it as fast. I can clear it about the same time with both of the characters. So it can take, for example, 5 minutes to clear it out with Naue. It will take 5 minutes or 4 minutes, or maybe 6, depending on how large it is and if I can scale walls and stuff like that, with Yasuke. So they are pretty comparable. It's up to you how you want to play it. It's up to you what you want to choose in options through the game. It's up to you how you experience the game, whether you want to pay the store or upgrade the game and go through the process of progressing the game. Now, the difficulty again, I think it's fine. For me, at this point, at 25 to 26 level, all enemies, when you reach their level, they just level up with you. But because we are humans and we tend to gather experience and be better at games while we're playing, the game is pretty easy. It's quite easy. Even at the hardest difficulty, the game is easy. But the combat, I think the combat it's better than Ghost of Tsushima. The combat is fun. The combat might be easy at times. There are times it is hard, and it's up to you to decide whether it's hard or easy, because you can scale the difficulty even more. It's not just the setting you said your game, the difficulty you said. There are a lot of things. There are whether you use tools or not, the weapons you're using, whether you have good builds, whether you upgrade your items or not, whether you are wanted in a region or not. When you are wanted, that mechanic is nice. I've seen it again, but it's nice. So it's fun. The game is fun, and I'm still playing it. And we'll see. Once I have a score, I will give it to you. I am still playing the game. I have some review videos coming up, but I'm thinking about first getting a score in my head and locking a score for the game, and then releasing the reviews. So that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching the video. If you have anything to say, leave it down below. There are a lot of weapons in the game. Each character has his own weapons and own armors. You have full armor and helmet for each character. You can change how the armor and the weapons look. It's free, so you can use the appearance of another weapon you have with a weapon you want to use. For example, you have a legendary weapon and you want it to look like a common weapon because the common weapon has a great skin on it. That's fine, you can do that. And the other way around, of course. So yeah, there are a lot of things to do in the game, a lot of content, a lot of upgrades. Things could be better, of course, graphically, bug-wise. Graphically, I mean about bugs, because the game, if you play it at max settings, the game is beautiful, but it's very demanding. I'm running a 3080 at the moment with 3600 GPU. At max settings, I can play it without streaming it or recording it at more than 60 FPS with ray tracing at 1080p. If I start streaming it, I'm struggling. Having everything maxed out with max ray tracing and no DLSS, I'm talking about no DLSS and no frame generation at 1080, the game is struggling. If I'm not recording, it's fine. Then I can enable in game the frame generation of AMD, and the game is just French keys, chef's keys. You know, the game runs great. So it's up to you again. The options in settings, up to anyone. I'm fine with the game. I'm still playing. I'm having fun. And once I got down to a score, I will inform you. Have a good day, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.